Hello, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, you are absolutely welcome. My name is TOEFL Umaka and I am an international student. Ooh, well, if you're watching this video, I just want to start by saying congratulations, like hearty congratulations. I mean, if you've heard this song by Ada Ehi, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Congratulations, you have seen the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. Congratulations, because He actually has done it for you. I mean, watching this video means you've gotten your admission from the school and you're in the next phase of planning your coming down here to the US, which is absolutely your visa application. So congratulations on that. Today's video is super important because I'm going to be sharing with you relevant F1 visa interview questions and possible answers that you can be able to use to prepare yourself for your F1 visa interview. I kind of like the best way to answer these questions, right? So if you're preparing for your F1 visa interview in 2025 or in whatever year you're planning to do it, this is the right video for you. You came to the right stop, so don't go anywhere. Without further ado, we're gonna get started into the video. I'm so excited. Before we start this video and before we dive into the questions and possible answers, I want to put this out there that these visa officers are looking for three things, right? Legitimacy of your application and your move to the United States, your financial capability, and your home ties. They want to be sure that you are a legit and genuine student who knows exactly what he or she is doing and why they are coming down to the US. The financial capability aspect is to be sure that you can be able to enhance your education and you're not going to be like a liability when you get down to the United States of America. And the last part, which is your home tie, signifies what is going to take you back home to your country. It could be your work, maybe you have things that you're doing there, you have your family, maybe you're married, anything that is just going to bring you back to your country. So they want to be able to attest that you have all of these three covered. So when you're answering these questions that I will be mentioning here, you want to make sure that you are as concise as possible. I mean, if you've seen my previous videos where I spoke about my F1 visa interview story and a couple of other videos that I put up about your statement of purpose or your F1 visa application, I'm just going to link the playlist in the description box so that if you're watching this, you can go back and watch those so you're not missing out on anything. The answers to your questions, make sure they are precise, concise, and straight to the point. Avoid generic answers. Big time. And also, before you go for your interview, make sure that you've done your research. Like you've done the research that you need to do in the school that you're going for, all of your applications, particularly the school that you're going for. You know everything about your school, and so that you're not caught off guard when the visa officer asks you questions about your school or the reason for your study here in the United States. These are things you want to keep at the back of your mind. Make sure that everything you're doing, you've done your research full time so that you're leaving no stone unturned, right? So if the visa officer is asking you questions, you know exactly what you're saying and you don't look to them or prove to them that you don't know what you're doing. For you to go down to a place to study, you know what you want to do, you know the school you're going for, everything about them, you know like the in and out of the schools. Also, if you have like responsibilities, maybe the school has assigned you a GATARA, meaning graduate assistantship, research assistantship, and teaching assistantship. You want to be able to know what the school assigned to you. If you're a TA, know what your duties are going to be, know what your responsibility is going to be on that job. Like I said, make sure you're leaving no stone unturned. You know how many hours you'll be working, you know the class you'll be teaching. If you're a TA or if you're an RA, like a research assistant, you will know what your research is going to be about. You know the professor you're going to be working with, the number of hours you'll be working with these professors, like everything you need to know. So literally preparing for your interview is more like you're preparing for a job interview. You know how you want to bag that job interview, so you need to prepare for your interview. That's how this is. You have to take it serious, and by serious I mean you have to take it extremely serious. So throughout this video, I'm going to add timestamps to the description box, and for those timestamps, you're just going to go to the section you want the answers to for the question. But if you are not looking for a particular question and a particular answer, you can watch all through from the beginning to the end of this video to get an insight as to what the questions is going to look like and the possible way to answer these questions. So the first question is, why do you want to study in the US? Just putting this out here in case you see me looking down over the side. My note is here, and that's where I have the questions down, so that's where I'm going to be looking down to talk to you guys. Or why are you going to the US? Or in the where I was asked, tell me where you are going to. So these visa officers are going to twist these questions in different ways. But all of it just boils down to the same question that has about the same answer. And again, if you know your story, you understand your profile, you know how to tackle these questions. So any why question, right? This is a tip. Tie it back to your own tie. So you could say, oh, I'm going to the US to study for my master's degree or my PhD degree because I have been offered a master's of arts degree in this or in sociology, and my chosen university, you can go ahead to mention the name of the school that you've been awarded the admission to as the perfect program for the course that you're going for. And you chose that school because they have this and this in the course track that you want to do, and it's going to equip you with the skills to be able to grow in certain areas. Mention those things, which will be beneficial to me at my current place of work when I return back home to help solve this and this problem, so that I can be able to take up the position of the this and this at my current place of work, and it will give me the global exposure that I need to be able to attain a particular position at my current place of work. Okay, so what you do not want to say is because I want to move to the US. This kind of like raises red flags to the visa officer because you're not focused on what you are going there to do. This is an F1 visa. It is a non-immigrant visa. So please stick to your educational reason as to why you're coming down here. So you see the way I answered that question, I kind of like tied it back to my workplace, to my current place of work. I mean, if you're working back in your home country, wherever you are, you want to tie that back. Home ties is very important. Also want to make sure that all your questions are tied to you returning home and to your home tie. Every why question tied back to your home tie. So the second question, why this university? Why did you choose this university? So for this, I kind of like answered it in the first question because even though I went about talking about how the US has a very good educational system in this and that and those, I also kind of like chipped in why I chose the school and what it was going to do for me personally and also in my career goal. But this question, why did you choose this university? You could say, oh, I chose Michigan State University, for example, because of a strong research in this or that, depending on your program. And they have like very good, excellent research opportunities and faculty members like Professor this and that I will be working with in setting this and this and that. Mention the research area. I was also impressed by their mention something that is very distinctive about that school. Maybe like a unique feature that is very spectacular to that school. Probably their research facility or something in the research that you're going to be doing, their ranking as well. So you want to chip in those. Back in my interview when they asked me, tell me where you're going to. So I literally told the officer, oh, I'm going to the United States of America, particularly this university, so that I can be able to obtain my degree in a Master's of Arts in Film Studies. And I chose this university for 3 reasons. And this school stood out for me because they have all of these things in their coursework, which I'm very, very particular about. And I'm kind of like going to be learning under the tutelage of this certain professor and his name, right? So when I said all of those things, like I already tied and mentioned specific things about the program, about the school and what they have to offer to me. So you want to make sure that your question is tied around what the school is going to do for you and how it will be beneficial to you. So the next question that might probably ask you is, what is your highest degree of qualification? So this is where your academic background comes into play. So for this question, you want to say, oh, I have a Bachelor's of Art degree in where I majored in certain and certain course, and you graduated with a CGPA of this and this out of this. You also had like maybe distinction in certain courses back in your undergrad days. You also want to mention that, oh, you have a thesis paper or you have a dissertation or you have a research paper that was published in this and this school. You also want to say if you're the best graduating student in your class, just anything that is tied to your academics. You could also say your research paper was published in probably maybe a company published your paper or your school actually published your paper. You want to do that as well. Just hide anything that is related to your academic. Probably you went for a conference, you presented a paper and they gave you an award for that presentation at that conference. It's tied to your academics. So put that. All of these things is what distinguishes you as the best student for that program. And then when you're answering these questions and telling the visa officer, they can see that, oh, this is actually the reason why this school admitted you, because you are a bona fide student. So you want to pick out these things, go through your CV, go through your transcripts, or sit down and think about every moment in your academic journey that you were excellent, that you were A1, that you did amazing things. So you want to bring all those to the front. Like when you're answering these questions, you have 2-3 minutes to answer these questions. So you have to bring your best foot forward. So answer these questions by shooting the best points to the front and the less relevant points to the back. Because the moment the visa officer gets his answer to the question, he's going to cut you short. He or she's going to cut it short. They don't have time. They will move on to the next question. So you want to make sure you're giving them what they need. Okay, moving on to the next question. So the next question you might be asked is, so who is going to be sponsoring your deficit? That is if you have a deficit. So if you don't know what a deficit is, I'm going to currently leave a link to a video that is explaining all these terms. The link will definitely pop up here or in the description box, so you can check that out. This question can come in as who is sponsoring your education, or who is going to be covering your deficit, or I see you have a total cost of attendance of 44,000 naira. Who is going to be covering the deficit? All of this is tied to financial capability and who is going to be sponsoring that. So you want to give an answer like, oh, I have been awarded a graduate assistantship that covers my tuition, my health expenses, my living expenses. That is if you have been awarded that graduate assistantship. Don't go there and say you have been awarded it if you have not been, because literally on your I-20 they will see it there if the school gave you that graduate assistantship or a teaching assistantship that covers all of this. But if you're not giving that, make sure you give an appropriate answer that answers to that. So for people that have been awarded a graduate assistantship, you could say, oh, I have been awarded a graduate assistantship that covers my full tuition, health expenses, living expenses, and my deficit of this figure, mention that figure. This will let the visa officer know that you know what you're talking about and you have read your I-20 inside and out. So assuming you have a deficit of 12,000 or 6,000 or 4,000, say it in this way: my deficit of $6,000, $4,000 will be covered by my dad or by my mom, right? Now go ahead to tell them what your parents do. Oh, my dad is in this business, he does this, he earns an annual income of whatever figure your father earns. Put it there. My mom is a this and she does this and she has worked in that company for certain years, put the number of years, and she earns an annual income of this, this, and this. They will both be sponsoring my education, right? So you just give a short and precise answer and concise. That's all they need. They don't have all the time in the entire world. So for those who have not been awarded a graduate assistantship or a teaching assistantship, and probably you're kind of like sponsoring yourself, or your family is sponsoring you, like your dad or your mom is sponsoring you, but you have not been awarded a graduate assistantship or any form of scholarship at all, you can go ahead and say, my dad will be sponsoring me, is a this, just the same response as the previous one, is a this, he has been working with this company for this and he earns an annual income of. So my mom is a this, she has been working with that company for this. Just chip in the things that your parents do, how long they've been working with the company or how long they've been in that business for, and how much their annual income is. So when you're saying these things, the officer is trying to see if your parents can be able to afford that bill. So if you go to the embassy with 44,000, 50,000, 60,000, just make sure that your parents can cover that bill, because it's a lot. Say, I always advise anybody to go ahead and make sure that you secure some sort of graduate assistance. For people who are sponsoring themselves, you could go ahead and say, oh, I've been working with this company for this year, I've been able to save about so amount of money that is geared towards my education, and my average annual income working with this company is about this amount. So just make sure that you legit tell them how long you've been working with the company, how much your annual income is, and how much you've been able to save towards your education. That's if you're self-sponsoring. So the next question you could be asked is, what will you do after graduation, or what is your post-study plan? And you see all this, they're all tied to home time. After your studies, what do you plan on doing? You don't want to go to the embassy and tell them, oh, after my studies I intend to use my OPT to get a job, I'll stay back and get. My dear, it's the automatic red flag, big time. Again, the F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa. You are not coming to their country to stay, you are coming to study and you are going back. So make sure you tell them things around this. You could give a possible answer like, okay, after completing my degree, I plan to return to my current place of work where I currently do this and this and apply the skills that I've learned to help take the company to a certain, specific, again, I'm saying this because this is like a sketch, to a certain degree. Also, I would be promoted to the position of a this and that, where I'll be able to use my skills and the knowledge to take the company to a certain level. Like, tie it back to your own time. Tie it back that whatever it is you're learning from the school, you're going to add it back to what you're coming to do in your current place of work, in your business, in your home country, anything that is just to bring you back home. You don't want to say, I want to stay in the US and get a job. This visa is for study, not immigration. Any study thing you're saying, tie it back to you using that degree to better your company or to better the current place of work you're working at. You do not want to give vague answers at the embassy. Give them authenticity, give them the real truth, give them what it is is you'll be coming back to do. So the next question the visa officer could ask you is, have you visited the US before? Now you go ahead and tell the visa officer. If yes, you say yes, I visited the US for this, probably maybe on a J1 visa, or probably you went for tourism, or probably you went on a business trip. You could go ahead and say, oh yes, I have visited the US for this reason, and in this year, and this was what I went to do. I stayed in so and so hotel. I stayed there for 2 or 3 weeks, and I returned back on so dates. The US is very thorough, so you need to give them specifics, right? Like the date, the time, the where, the when. You get that? Like, don't miss out any details. So this is why I say you have to do your research. So if you're one that you have stamps, maybe like B1 visa stamp on your passport where you were able to tour, or you traveled for tourism reasons to the United States, mention that oh yes, I've been to the US before and I returned back. That kind of like gives you credibility, because they can see that, oh, you've been here and you came back. So that means if you say you're coming back, then you are actually coming back. Okay? Yeah. If no, you could say, no, this would be my first time traveling to the US and I am just going for my studies. So the next question could be, okay, how did you find this university? Here you can go ahead and say, oh, I researched universities on the Education USA website, university websites, and recommendations from your professors in your undergrad, probably where you did your undergrad before. You just like mention the specific professors in your school that recommended this university to you, and further explain to them why you chose the university. And also in that same question, you can now tie it back to your home country, what it's going to do for you. The reason why I keep saying tying this back to your home country, because you will not be asked all the questions I'm mentioning here. It's just going to come in the same way but in different formats, and no visa officer will ask you 15 to 20 questions. Max they will ask you is 3 to 4. All questions just have to revolve around these 3 main pointers, and you have to do your due diligence by answering the questions in the way that you're supposed to, that would grant you your visa officer. So think of every question as your reason to get that visa. Think of it that way. Don't just go and just say the basic things or generic things. Say the answers in a way that will get you that visa, because that could be the one and only question you could be asked. Don't be dependent on the fact that, oh, they will ask me more than one. No, you may not get the chance to be asked more than one. Just tackle the first question like that is the only question you'll be asked, and give it your all. Keep talking until the visa officer cuts you short. And also, you also want to pay attention to the visa officer you would be talking to. Some visa officer would want you to go length and talk and talk and talk. Some visa officer just want you to like shoot straight and give them what they need to hear. So study your visa officer before you go ahead and say things. Different people, different personalities. Because they are their job does not mean that they are not humans. They are humans, and just the way you have preferences, they have preferences. So study them and see what they like. I know it's a lot, but you just have to do that. The next question is, okay, what is your TOEFL, IELTS score, all that good stuff, or GRE score? This question you could easily add it to what is your highest degree of qualification. When you're mentioning about you had a bachelor's degree in this and this and that, you could easily chip this. That I also have a TOEFL score of this. Is also part of your academics, so you want to put that there. You can say I scored your score on this exam meeting the university's requirements, and you can even tell them what the overall mark is and what your score is. So you want to put that there, so they don't need to come and then ask you what your TOEFL score is, which may or may not be asked. But it's always advised that you put this particular question, answer it in what is your highest degree of qualification. The next question is, how many schools did you apply to? So here you can go ahead and tell the officer that, oh, you applied to 3 schools or 4 schools or 5 schools, depending on the number of schools that you applied to. Don't go and tell the visa you applied to just 1 school. It just puts you in a position that you're just testing the waters. And credible students, genuine students who really are passionate about going to school, don't just apply to 1 school, because how dare you think that this 1 school you apply to is going to give you the admission? You think there are no more than 1 people applying to that school. So it's always best, like they say, don't throw all your eggs in one basket. Have options. So apply to more than 1 school. And when you go for your interview, tell the visa officer that, oh, I applied to 3 schools or to whatever number of schools you applied to, and you got admission to a certain number of schools, but you chose this university because you've always wanted to grow your skills in this, and based on your current place of work, you need this skill to be able to drive and foster growth in this certain project. And this is why you're particular about this, because when you come back to your current place of work, you would be able to use that skill to tackle this particular problem and create a solution for this particular research project. Did you see the way I tied that back to my current place of work? Tie it back to your own time. It was an academic question, but I went ahead, answered the academic question, and then still went ahead to tie it back to my home country. You can only do this if your visa officer is the type of person that likes talk, or your visa officer is the type of person that gives you room to talk. But like I mentioned, if your visa officer does not give you that room, just study your visa officer, know what they want, and give it to them. But for every question, tie it back to your own time. The next question is, what is your program start date? They can see these things in your I-20, but they just want to be sure that you know what you're coming down to do. So your program start date is literally on your I-20. So you need to know that at the back of your head. So you could say, well, my program starts on May 2nd and ends on June 3rd, 2029 or 2030. Give them specifics. Give them the exact date that is on your I-20. Always refer to your I-20 form. Like in your head, I'm not saying go there and now tell the officer, check my I-20 now. Don't do that. You cannot do that, okay? The next question you could be asked is, do you have any relatives in the US? So you could go ahead and tell the officer that, no, I don't have any relatives in the US. All my family members are here in Nigeria, or your wife, your children, your husband, they are all here in Nigeria. Or if your family are all here in Nigeria, just tell them, oh, I don't have anybody in the United States and the entirety of my family is here. What will you be doing during semester break is another question that might be asked. So during semester break, which is honestly about 1 or 2 weeks, you could tell them, oh, you'll be going back home to visit your family, maybe plan on returning home during the break, or participate in university activities like these projects that might be happening during the research break. Did I just say research break? Semester break, or this program that will be happening during the semester break. Also, don't suggest working illegally. Make sure you let them know that, okay, if there's a semester break, this is what you plan on doing, or you could spend that time working on your research project along with your professor. Okay, the next question you might be asked is, why the US? Why not study in your home country? So for questions like this, I always advise that you do not go and now sell your country in a bad way to the visa officer. That's not what they want to hear. This is a very tricky, technical, and psychological question. Why the US? Why not study in your home country? It's basically, what is it about the US that you see that is fascinating to you, that wants to make you go there and study? So yeah, you can sell the school to them. Sell everything about the school to them. If it is a unique feature about the school, if it is the professor that you're working with and the research projects that you're doing, you might as well also sell the US to them. Maybe have like 3 pointers, right? But make sure that 1 or 2 of those pointers are said. It could be that, oh, the US has a very beautiful or outstanding educational system, and the school that you're going to, which is this particular university, has a unique research facility that does certain research in bipolar organism, and you'll be working with Professor this on this bipolar organism degeneration to study things like that. You're basically tying it back to that school. You cannot go ahead to say, okay, this particular bipolar organism generation cell study would help you when you return back to your current place of work in your medical field to be able to use this cell formation to create something that would help to treat patients in this and this and that. That's if you're a medical doctor and you're already in the medical field. So make sure that every question you are asked, you're tying it back to your home country. Don't go and say in why the US question, or why not study in your home country, or Nigeria does not have this, or Pakistan does not have this, or Ghana does not have this, and this is why I'm going here. You're already shooting yourself in the leg. That's not what they're asking you. They're basically asking you, what does the US has to offer you? What do they have that you need? So tell them that thing that they have that you need, that will be beneficial to you, your academics, your career, and most importantly, when you go back to your current place of work. Okay, so the next question you could be asked is, where would you be staying? So for this, you could literally tell the visa, you could go ahead and be honest, meaning if you've not gotten an accommodation, you just let them know that, oh, my accommodation is contingent on if my visa is approved. But you could also go ahead and say, oh, your professor in this and this, or just mention his name, has assured that once your visa is approved, they will go ahead to secure you a campus dorm in the graduate school housing, which is in this address and in this location. That way you are ready. Like, so to them, they're like, oh no, this person knows, they are well prepared, they know what they are doing, they know where they're supposed to go to. Like, you're not leaving any pothole. You're giving them everything that they need. So the next question you might be asked is, what do you do? So what do you do is like, a way to determine what you currently do, like what's your home type, what you are currently involved in, your current place of work, maybe like a project you're on, or a company you're working with, or an organization that you're tied to, that you have a responsibility to, like basically home type. So this is one question that would help to determine your home type. So you could go ahead and tell them what you do. Oh, I am a project manager at this company. I have led this company to 10-15 projects that has landed us on the website of this Netflix, BMW, Toyota, you know, like all the projects that you have been to and that has awarded your company like sustainable credits that is recognizable. So you want to put that. You also want to put statistics. So mention like maybe specific numbers. So I've been on 10 projects where I led the company to $20,000 income in profit, and as a result of that I was promoted to this and this in the year this, and currently I am doing this and this in the same organization, and this is why I am going for this particular PhD program or master's program or an MBA program where I need the skills to be able to attain a certain level of professional growth and career growth, which is very important. You know, just things like that. You want to chip that in and make sure that you're selling yourself, your company, and how the program is going to benefit you in your company. I hope that makes sense. Okay, another question the visa officer might ask you is, why should I grant you this visa? So some visa officers can ask this question. Some might ask it in a different way and in a different tune. So why should I grant you this visa? Now here is also tied back to your home country, tied back to why the degree is important to you. Or granting me this visa would enable me get my master's degree in this, that would enable me gain an extensive knowledge in this. Also, you can say something in the lines of, oh, I'm a serious student with a clear and academic goal in this, academic and career goal in this and this, which will be beneficial to me in developing a bipolar cell organism treatment to be able to treat patients of this and this in my current place of work, where I will now also be taking the company to this level, which would also be beneficial to me in my career advancement as I take up the role of this and this in my current place of work, where I would also be able to contribute to national growth, health growth, help with the company's growth as well. So answers like this, you want to make sure that you're tying it back to your home country while you're saying what the program will do for you, what the visa will do for you, which of course is to enable you to go and study. You also want to let them know that enabling you to study by granting your visa also help you to be able to solve a problem at your current place of work. So you want to make sure that there is a research or a problem that you're actually tackling that needs answers, and that is why you're going here or you're coming down here to study. Another visa question that might be asked is, what will you do if your visa is rejected? So here you just want to show determination without sounding desperate. You don't want to sound like your life depends on the visa, even if it does. Don't do that. You want to let them know that, okay, you would go back, reveal the reasons why you were rejected, address them, and reapply with a stronger application. The reason why some people may be rejected is improper answers to the questions that were asked during the interview, lack of financial proof to support your education, maybe lack of funding, inadequate information to back up the questions that are being asked. So these are, and a couple of other reasons are the reasons why people get disapproved or people get rejected. So you want to make sure that you're going to the embassy with a very strong application, like all the portals are covered. You've done your research, you know the questions. Even if you throw it at you different angles, you know that, okay, this question is asking me this, I will throw in this, or this question is asking me this, oh, I will throw this. So every why question, I think this is a tip that I will share, tie it back to your home type, and that's it. Like, that's it, guys. Those are about, I'm not sure at this point if it's 15 questions or 20 questions, but I would insert the number of questions on the screen that I was able to ask and answer here. So those are about the most common F1 visa interview questions that you would be asked, probably not in the way I asked it, but in a very different format. And obviously these questions and the answers I gave you is like a template to help you prepare. Don't go about saying my word for word. It's a template. Insert your story to that template. So if you're a medical doctor and you have a particular reason why you're going for this program, put it there. If you're a student and you have a reason why you're going for this, put it there. Anything that you're doing that is peculiar to your story, insert it in this template and craft it in a way that would help you know your story, know your answers by heart, and be able to answer the visa officer. I also hope that this kind of like boosts your confidence and help you prepare in your visa interview. And I hope you found this video helpful, and please give this video a thumbs up. It helps you to recommend it to people outside of my community. I mean, if you're already a part of my community, I do appreciate you and I love you so much. Thank you so much. So also comment below if you are applying for your visa in 2025, I would really love to hear from you. And honestly, I really pray that you get your visa. You are in my prayers, and I pray that every one of you that are looking for your visa in 2025, you shall apply and you shall get it. Even if it's not 2025, whatever year you're watching this video, you're going to get your visa. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more study tips. It will be very beneficial to you. Grad school has a lot on my plate. I have a lot on my plate, so I try not to starve you guys, and I put videos out once every week. So I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye.